Okay, let's talk a little bit about movement repercussions. So normally this will have you've only got basically two different ways this can go down. Let's say so I'm the captain and I'm in the food locker. Okay, let's put her in here. So I'm in the food locker. So I can either move into obviously I can move to any adjacent room that I wanted. But if I, for the purposes of this example, if I move into life support, then I would draw a crisis card and resolve it. Obviously, it would correspond. The crisis card would correspond to the deck that I'm on, and in this case, B. You can see the boundary lines here and here, and and there's three decks, A, B, and C. Now, obviously, from the food locker to life support, that would I would draw a B deck card. Now, if I moved into the event chamber, now event chambers are a different outcome. You would. They're all on the in the event rooms. There are all these extra killed conflict tokens that would get put into the supply of conflict resolution, basically increasing your chance of dying. As you can see, because you start with 5 good and 1 bad. Every time you go into an event, you're increasing the likelihood of a deadly outcome to a fight. This is in addition to placing the kill token from the vent room into your resolution cup. Let's call that the cup. You also advance the alien life form 1 space towards you on the motion tracker. Obviously a bad thing. The closer it gets to you, the worse it is. Remembering you can choose, there are certain options at different points. Some, obviously there's a cost for this. So if you move from that position to here, you basically you have to advance a self-destruct a minute. If you move to there, you lose nerve. Now this one's slightly different. You draw 2 cards, but you also have to put one of these extra shuttlecraft stowaway tokens on board the shuttlecraft, so there is a cost for that. The red area of the motion tracker indicates that the alien is within flamethrower or your heat analyzer range, so that's most important. That's basically how you would differentiate between the 2 different outcomes. Now let's go for a B deck crisis card then. This I'll let you, let's see, I don't know if it's focusing. It is. Okay, all of these follow the same pattern on A and B decks, the crisis cards. As you can see, they all have flavor text at the top. Hang on. They all have flavor text at the top. As you can see here, all of them are unique. Every crisis card in the game is unique. And then you have to choose one of the 3 options. Now, obviously the options all require a cost of some kind, so it isn't always possible for you to maybe choose A and B. C is the default option if you haven't got the gear or don't wish to spend the gear, and that is hesitate. So there's always an option that you can do. The others, you might not want to do them, but they all have usually a more favourable outcome, and obviously that's something you'll have to consider when pursuing your options. So I'll give you an example. Let me read one. Okay, list at random. So something up ahead is making sinister noises. The sound sends unholy crawling things down your back. You've never heard anything like it, and pray to never hear it again. So the 3 options you have on this particular card are, as you can see, close all the iris valves in this section. Basically, you would have to discard one of the crew cards. Let's have a flick. One of these, you would have to discard one of those from your hand As you can see, it's got a security door icon, and that would you would discard that. That would close all the iris valves in that section, and then you would have to implement the instruction afterwards. Sometimes it's text, sometimes icons, usually it's a mixture of both. In this, it's still bad. It would mean the cocoon tracker, the yellow cocoon tracker, moves one space up, and that accumulates in your pot, that one. So that's still bad, but let's go back. What are the other options? Option B, jab at a wall panel control switch, hoping to flush the creature from its hiding place with toxic gas. So for this one, you would have to discard a Halon gas token if you've collected one. And if you did that, you would just be able to proceed. Proceed means basically that card's dealt with and done. That's super good. There's no negatives there. Then the last option, as I mentioned before, hesitate. This is the worst option. The alien moves 2. So let's say we just started, and this was one of the first cards we'd drawn. So on following this one, hesitating, move the alien 2, so it would go 1. I'm not going to increase that, so just go to here. And then it says, in addition, you are now exhausted. You can no longer use run or run reaction icons, and that stays in play. So put that somewhere to remind yourself. And now, you know, you're exhausted. Not cool. A bad thing. So basically on that particular card, I mean, they're obviously all unique and they intersect with each other in surprising ways. This one has 2 bad outcomes, 1 good one. But the good one still requires the expenditure of a hefty resource. Okay, let's pick a different one. Maybe this time from A. As you can see, slightly different border to the cards, but they're all different. So let's choose, this one's a simple one. Okay, you hear something strange ahead and stop breathing. It is repeated, then the lights start flickering. So you've got 3 options. Option A, rely on your gut instinct. For this, you would have to expend a survival icon. Either, as you can see here on a crew card, that particular survival one, or one of these that you might have picked up during play, from, you know, however that might occur. And then option B, light up the area, use an energy cell token. Right, now that's not, if you did that, you would find out that something strange ahead was the ship's cat, which you would immediately gain, and that would fulfill, let's take the cat, that would immediately fulfill one of your 3 requirements for shuttle launch. I don't know if you remember, but they are rescue the cat, download incriminating corporate xenodata. Obviously you want revenge on your corporate overlords who have put you in this situation. Or this one, uncouple the shuttle umbilicus. So again, all 3 have to be completed before you can escape. One side note for that, there's a thing up here on the expansion board. If you notice the docking clamps at the top, if you move that across by instructions or completing things on various cards, that can allow you, that's a secondary way of completing the unlocking of the docking clamps, where normally you would have an instruction on one of the cards that would say you're able to now do that. Where do we get to? So that was the I've lost the card. What an idiot. It was definitely here. Oh yeah, found it, right. So light up the area using an energy cell token. I got confused, distracted, cobweb minded. That's so. Let's presume on the energy cell track on, and if you notice, right, I don't know if it's clear on here, this is basically a silhouette of the shuttle and shows you the equipment that you've collected. Now let's, for the sake of this demonstration, let's say you had already collected these. So you've got a coolant and 2 energy cells. So on the card it says there for option B, light up the area. using an energy cell token. That would require you to take the topmost token and bin it. Good thematic hitching, you might say, but also the cost of that is you're getting rid of something that's taken you time to collect. And as you know, with the self-destruct tracker speeding most turns rapidly towards the explosion of the Valley Forge starship, that's time is a commodity that you don't have in great supply. And unlike most things here, which in the game, which you can stall or return to an earlier position, say, the self-destruct tracker never goes back up. It always moves down. Okay, the last option on this card, hesitate. This would mean you would have to lose nerve, which we already know is bad because you've only got a few positions on your fear track. Let's have a remind yourself what that is. There's the fear track. Shoot back over to the card. You would lose nerve and the alien would move one, remembering it doesn't take that long for it to shoot down towards you. There's not that many spaces, though obviously you can use a flamethrower and other things to move it back up the track, or some of the options on the other crisis cards. And advance the self-destruct 2 minutes, basically while you're wasting time pausing for breath and scouting the area around, what have you. So that's another one, a really difficult thing to think about. You might not always have a survival token or icon to spend, but you nearly always can have an energy cell token. So that's a way of preventing that, but also gaining yourself the ship's cat. If you have already got the ship's cat, you're probably wondering what happens if I draw this card. Well, instead of getting the ship's cat, you get a spare survival token, and there's different ways you can spend that. Okay, now let's have a quick look at C deck. Now C deck is, if you've got both the additional expansions, you've got extra cards in here. The other two decks are the same size. Again, they're all unique cards, but this has got, I think, a dozen extra cards in. Now, C deck, obviously there's with all of the crisis cards, there's an escalation of the danger and the threat, and the decisions, say, are nastier. C deck obviously being the worst, with some of these being absolutely hideous. But there's a flavour of these where you can see slightly different to the others. Look at this upside down icon in the bottom right hand corner. Now about a dozen of these cards have got that on. There's a couple there, there's one here, one there. Right, now the way they operate, now I don't know if you can see it very well on the camera. You can see on this particular option it's got it says mining surveyor, and the highlighted line goes round to this. So if you pick on this particular card option A and you fulfill the criteria, which would be to discard any two cards, not necessarily what you want to do, but it's fairly easy, it's any two cards. On this one, you would move the alien one space towards you. You would unlock a docking clamp. Remember, they're on the extra board down the bottom of the play area, and also place a spare token on the shuttlecraft's cockpit. So again, that's for, you will then know that that's a space where the alien life form is not hiding, not where it is, it's where it isn't. The more of these that you find, obviously you'll then you'll have covered up more areas on the shuttle, and you'll narrow it down where it is, and hence it would be easier to kill. But anyway, the main thing I wanted to show you was the fact you then get a mining surveyor. So this one, it might cost you two cards, but you then get this. All of the rest of the card is then considered blank. You flip it over, and then you can then spend the mining surveyor as if you had that token. So that's that then becomes part of your hand, or in front of you, wherever you want to keep it. And all of those with the icon in the bottom right hand corner have got a cool thing, and some even with an option like this one here. Let's go. This is quite an interesting one. So this, you would find, you snatch up a squirt bottle of universal solvent off a hexagonal cargo container. Again, you would need to discard 2 cards for it. You get the universal solvent, the alien moves towards you too. You unlock a docking clamp and you put a spare token on the supply locker, again showing where the alien isn't. The solvent, you decide at the time when you use it, not when you pick it up. It can either be used to shock prod the android, or the action is equivalent to that. You're basically squirting solvent on its sensors, or do a circuit board action, which effectively in thematic terms would be you burning through a control panel or something like that, but you've basically got a solvent. So you're gaining an item. Now the other options are card, again the C deck card's still got the option C, hesitate, or B, this one you would need to spend a circuit board, and there's requirements there. Again, they're all unique. You'll not get through probably any of the decks, and because the fact that the cards are all unique, and then you're only in each game, you're only ever going to play through one of the options in each card. It means that all your games are going to have a unique outcome that you weren't expecting. So and hopefully that keeps it fresh and tells a narrative of your own creation. So and by the time you've probably exhausted this, we might well have done another pack which allowed extra cards to all 3 decks, keeping it fresh again and exciting for you guys. So that's a quick overview of how the resolution in each chamber is in solo, slightly different from the main game.